Today is Friday, March, and that means it is time to talk about new releases in terms of heavy music, heavy metal in particular this week, as well as some extreme metal overall. Up first and firmly at number 1 is Cruel Force's fourth album, Haneda. This is a speed metal band, one that started out as a black thrash metal band back in the early 2010s. And since they returned back in 2022, this is the second full-length album they've released in this new style, which is much more traditional speed metal, the emergence of thrash metal, that kind of sound. You'll know it right when you hear it. This is easily one of the most infectious and inspired and just energetic records put out this month. And I think it's just one that has stuck in my head. British heavy speed metal band Aggressive Perfector, and their second full-length album, Come Creeping Fiends, is another fantastic, memorable, catchy, well-performed heavy metal record, one that has some early speed metal kind of stuff going on with it. There's a little bit of early Slayer and a little bit of Motorhead in both bands, and I think this is a band that's maybe a little bit more in the new wave of British heavy metal kind of feeling. I had a lot of extreme metal to choose from to talk about this week. There aren't a ton of like higher quality bands coming out, but a lot of interesting ones. And British death metal band Cryptworm have returned with, I think this is their third or fourth album, I don't remember off the top of my head, but Infectious Pathological Waste is unique in the way that they use simpler death metal structures of today to reflect a lot of what kind of Carcass influenced in the past in the late 80s. Doesn't specifically feel entirely old school or new school or whatever at the time. Otherwise, it keeps its head down, barrels through in a very direct manner. It's all the more immersive for it. As I suggested last week in a couple of other videos, we're getting to the point where we're going to start hearing more thrash, more things other than death and black metal, from me at least. Part of that equation is this new Desolus record that's been announced by Hell's Headbangers Records. It's coming out on May 15th, and it accompanies a support slot for Hyrax and Savage Master on some tour dates which are happening right now. Today is the first date, I believe. Check that out online. Otherwise, we know Desolus as a creator influenced late 80s aggressive thrash metal band verging on kind of death thrash. You're going to hear that in this song. I think this is an incredibly aggressive song, and I like what they've done with this. They haven't fully refined their sound. They've just found a more aggressive way to do this act, and I think it's pretty awesome, so check that out. So another big announcement for my own taste is German thrash metal band or speed metal band Wreaking R, who've announced their fourth full-length album, Descending Where Time Has Ceased to Exist, will release on Dying Victims Productions, and once again features their sound where it's like classic heavy metal and thrash metal, more melodic parts, as well as like progressive thrash structures in the songs. Definitely take the time to go listen to their previous records and cue into what they're all about. You'll hear most of it here on this song. Antique Records have recently announced and released a new cassette EP for PASSÉISME, a Russian black metal band who are heavily influenced by melodic black metal, but certainly have a very specific type. You might know that I'm a huge fan of them, and I think it's well worth digging into their discography and picking up this tape. It's an omen of things to come. Dementia Records and DTD Records have announced they'll release the fifth full-length album from Exorcisphobia, a thrash metal band who reflects both Bay Area melodic thrash and crossover influences in their sound. Neurosis Unbound will release on April 13th, and check out the title track right now. Pretty interesting band, not for everyone, but I think their last record was interesting enough to where this is something I'm anticipating. Thrashing grindcore band Sewer Altar caught my interest here with this song here that was sent in to me today. I haven't heard the album Fever Dreams of Vengeance, but anything that releases on 7 Degrees I tend to check out just because they usually source pretty interesting bands. This song, Landfill Sky Burial, it's really short. It's a grindcore song, but it's got some thrashing elements to it. There's some kind of moshable chunking that happens in there. Stockholm, Sweden-based death metal band Exorcist are returning for their third full-length album on April 24th, and I think this is one to look forward to. It's going to be on Hammerheart Records, and the band have put maybe a little bit more time in just developing their own style, and that includes like a lot of crazed whammy solos and all kinds of shit happening on this song, Faceless. It got me into it immediately. I think this is definitely worth checking out if you just like this style. We'll see how substantive that ends up being on album, but I think their last record was pretty good, so I'm going to follow up and check this one out too. Profound Lore Records have announced On the Promise of the Moon, the second full-length album from Wreaking R, will release on April 17th. And I think this is actually one to look out for. I wasn't sure about where they were going to go after the first record, but they've expanded that voice into something that is both brutal and melodic on this record. And I think that this title track and single says it well enough. I think that gives you more than enough reason to check out what they're all about if you missed that first record and how they've expanded it since. I know that I say every week there's something up here that is some part of my most anticipated, but I do think that something new from Bloodsoaked Necrovoid is something to really get hyped about, get excited about. I really love their last full length and each of their smaller releases, and now they're coming back with a short cassette EP that has 2 songs on it. Always stoked to check out what these guys are doing. Look forward to this in April, and for now, check out Pouring Irreversible Agonical Openings. Now, I always try to stay on top of things. I've probably had this new Elder album for 2 weeks now. I've been listening to it pretty frequently. Looking forward to when it releases on May 29th. Through Zero is an extension of what the kind of progression of the band has been for the last several years. And in this one, we're finding the progressive rock and post-rock ideas now kind of fuse into something which is presenting interest in krautrock as well as progressive rock at the same time. You'll feel it in this title track, as well as just some of the keyboard parts remind me of old Yes, just because I like that kind of thing. So thanks for checking out some new releases with me. Go ahead and follow, like, subscribe, whatever you feel like doing to keep in touch. Send me an email if you prefer. I don't really mind at all. Either way, keep up however you see fit. And